Right now. Hi, hello, hi everyone. Thank you so much that you joined our webinar. I'm really happy to have you here. I have really inspirational story today to share with you. Let's start at the beginning. My name is Arina, and I am owner of Mobilingual. And like every entrepreneur, I know it's really hard to start your business from scratch. Sometimes we have hard days, sometimes we have easy days, and sometimes we lose our motivation and inspiration. So today I want to share the story with you about our we have Eric Thomas as a guest, and his story is amazing. He inspired me personally, and he also inspires so many people out there. And I want to say welcome, Eric. And how was your day today?
Was great. It was great, even though it was like freezing cold here in Michigan.
It's really cold. We have lots of snow here too. So can you tell me a little more about your story? I know at some point in your life you start not just your business from scratch, you actually start your life from scratch. Can you actually tell a little more about that moment?
Well, about 17 years ago, I was doing hip hop music, and we created our album. Then we were gonna have an album release party, and so we had it at our house. 20 years old, unprofessional situation. Trying to do a professional thing, underage drinking, things like that. And I went outside to check the parking lot, and I went around the DJ van, and then I came back to the steps, and I was talking to someone at the time, and then someone came from behind me and then pulled the gun, open fired, and I don't know how many bullets that they shot, but when somebody does something from behind you, you kind of turn. And one hit me in the neck, and then that went into my third vertebrae, and then the other one just grazed the back of the skull, and I lost everything. I fell backwards onto the cement, and I was just kind of like in and out of consciousness, looking up at the dark sky because it was a September 20th. It was a cold and rainy night, and yeah, everything just kind of crashed and crumbled right there. The only thing I had was like my soul. I was very vulnerable. I felt that was the most naked I ever felt in my life because there was no right, no hiding from under a rock, and there was no no putting the latest and greatest fashion on me and making it all better or throwing me in a fancy car or something. It didn't matter anything that you had. The only thing that mattered is what you did in your lifetime, and that was the first time I learned that the world spins too. A lot of people think that the world spins, for them, and the world just keeps spinning with you or without you, and yeah, it was quite a shock.
So I don't know how long you spent in emergency and what happened after? How you
Well,
become from that point from your emergency room to the point who you are right now. I know you're kind of big person and so many people know you and you inspire so many people. So how did you come to that point? How did you go through all these problems and how did you fight with that?
but when a situation occurs as something uh, catastrophic as this, there is no answers. Everybody's just kind of running with their heads off, just trying to grasp onto every resource or every answer or every lie. You don't know. It's just everybody's just trying to figure things out. One, they didn't know who did the shooting, so that was a big thing. Uh, the party, the people that were at the party, they didn't really help me. They were just like tripping over me, yelling. Just they were more all about themselves. So it was a very selfish moment. Uh, would you do the same thing if it happened? I don't, you don't know. I mean, a lot of people say that they would save the person, and they end up running. It's just kind of some instinct,
It's
and you
like
just
that
never.
situation when you have some kind of problems and kind of nobody around you. Even people think that they will be around you. However, like when it's actually something happens, it just only few people are around you. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I was blessed to have a guy that was taking EMT classes that was inside the house. So he actually came out and stabilized me because I started not to be able, I started losing my breath, so I was unable to breathe and unable to move from the neck down. So I was just kind of just trapped inside myself, just kind of, there was no way. I just couldn't get up and run into the situation. I just had to face it. They say
So
face
how
the
long you
music.
spent?
I had to.
How long time you spent? Did you was in coma? And how long time you spent in an emergency room fighting for your life?
I was in and out of consciousness from the time I got to the hospital, and then when I got there, they put in 4 screws in my head, 2 on the front and 2 on the side, because they put this metal crown around you called a halo, and then they put all these tubes in you to help you breathe. You're on life support. And then I remember waking up, it was like 4 or 5 or sometime in the morning, and my parents are divorced, and both of them were there, and they're both remarried. And yeah, it was not a good situation to face your parents, to face it. It was kind of like, I don't know, you just felt like you'd let them down a little bit, and there was no way to no way to hide, no way to lie about it. This wasn't a fight, this wasn't a scratch, or something that you could come through, and that's how it all started. And that was at the local hospital, and then just trying to figure things out, people trying to figure out who did the shooting. No detective work. A detective didn't even come 4 days later. And I communicated with eye blinks and tongue clicks. That's how I communicated. That was my communication. And just trying to find the answers, what to do. And I just I decided, like once I got stabilized, they put a trach in me, so they cut your throat and they put a tube, and the life support is, breathing for you. You got this machine that's pumping air for you, and that's your breath. That's your life support. And so you just kind of hold on to and you pray, and you kind of figure out things. And you say, well, I survived this, so I'm gonna move forward, whatever the obstacle it may be. I'm here, so there's a reason why I've survived this, and that's how it's kind of been, pushing forward, figuring out the rehab and everything. I stayed in the local hospital from September 20th of 97 to October 29th of 97, and then no rehab. So the one good thing about being on the ventilator, which doesn't sound good, but the rehabs only took vent patients, only so many vent patients. So all these places had all their vent patients, so I was just in the hospital just kind of withering away, and Craig Hospital out there in Colorado heard about, my story or what happened, and they came out and said they could get me off the vent, and that's what they specialize in. And that was a big thing. I didn't want to leave Michigan at first at all. I was like devastated, but it was the best thing.
What did you feel when you hear first time that you cannot feel your legs and you cannot feel your arms and you have to deal with that for the rest of your life? How did you feel that moment, and how did you come to the moment when you actually say, you know what, I will do best of this situation, and how did you become an entrepreneur by now? I know you are. So how did you grow from that point to who you are right now? I know it's pretty hard and it's a long way, so how did you do that?
When you hear that, those answers, or the doctors tell you or the nurses tell you, there's 3 things you do. There's one that you're like, whoa, you're crushed, your world's been tipped upside down. 2, you're like, well, this could be temporarily, so you kind of could trick yourself or something. You don't really know. I mean, it's still temporarily to me. I know it's been 17 years, but you don't know. I wake up the next day and you just don't know. And so I don't ever say that it never won't. I mean, you go to the doctors and they say, oh, he'll never walk, and I'm like, okay, let's not say never. Let's not say can't. Let's just say, someday or something. And if that day comes, then that day comes. But um, just trying to get through things, the whole investigation, I knew everybody by nickname, so because in the rap community, a lot of people by nickname, so like, hey, that's my friend T, that's my boy Jay. Well, I was under an alias at the hospital, so these people were trying to see me. Nobody knew how to let them in because I didn't know their real name. So I stress that very much, to know a person's name, because if you don't, when the situation happens, you should really know a person's name. It's just that's when it comes in. And October 29th, we flew out to Craig Hospital on like a little Matchbox plane, and the whole time that I wasn't on life support, right? I was on life support, but they give you this ambu bag. It's this little blue thing that the person is squeezing. So the person, my life is in this person's hand squeezing, giving me air on the plane to transfer all the way to Colorado until they hooked me back up to a ventilator. So yeah, that was pretty damaging. That was just to watch that. And then once I got to Craig Hospital, it was boot camp. The doctors come, they do all the stuff that they're going to do. They put in the catheters that they want or whatever it is. They're saying this isn't play around time. This is serious business, because we got to get you so you know how to leave here, be independent, and be able to tell people how to take care of you, because your life has changed now and everybody else's life has changed. And so that just going through that, I'm sure it's probably like going through boot camp or the army. then uh, they trying to think. Right away, the respiratory therapist comes in and says, "Okay, look, we're going to turn your vent off, your life support. It's called a ventilator, but it is life support. We're going to turn it off for 30 seconds, and we're going to be here 3 times a day for 6 days a week or 5 days a week." So that's what they did. So they turned it off for 30 seconds, and that was it. I was cold turkey. And then they came back like, "Okay, we'll see you 6 hours later to do it again, and we're going to do a minute this time." So that's what it was. But they hook up a pulsometer to you, so you can see your oxygen levels. And I was staying about 97, 95, 97, 95, then 98. But it's like biofeedback. You're allowed to see something, you're breathing, and it's telling you, okay, you're breathing, Eric, you're breathing. So keep figuring out how to rebreathe again, because my diaphragm's like paralyzed. So I had to learn new muscles to be able to breathe again, and that's to get stronger. And they do that every day. I think it was 5 days a week. I think the weekends we got off, and then you go to physical therapy, and then you go to occupational therapy. You learn everything, and then you go to Tetra class. And Tetra class is like an education class where they teach you about spinal cord injury. They teach you about family, about social skill, like being social. How to like have someone bathe you, or what's the water going to feel like? Can you use super hot water or an electric blanket, because an electric blanket can burn you based on like your skin sensitivity and your level of injury. Can you have kids? All that stuff. So they teach that, and then they bring people in. So like they brought like a couple in that I think the guy was using a wheelchair and the girl wasn't, and they were a married couple, and then they got to talk about us, because that's real stuff. I'm 20 years old. I want to know it all. I want to know what's going on, and everybody wants to know what they can and what they're able to. And so food, everything from the bowel program to the bladder, how you're going to do all these things and how you're going to be able to survive. And that's what that was. And I did that 5 days a week, everything. And then there was outings, and I went to like 72 different outings. Went to the mountains. Yeah.
So how you become entrepreneur from that point? How you actually dealt your SaaS, like how develop your SaaS to become entrepreneur around your own business. And I know it's probably was very, very hard due to fact that you cannot feel your legs and arms. So how did you do that? I think so many people actually want to know how,
When I transferred from rehab, a lot of people go to nursing homes because they don't have an independent place to live. So I was blessed to be able to go to my mom's house. My stepdad built a ramp, and I'm so happy for that. And so I utilized the resources in my area, from a CMH to DHS to a disability network, and then MRS. So I started to go back to school, college, and just took business courses, like just absorbed everything. I was out in this world new, and I'm going to absorb everything that I possibly can, because I have to figure out how to be self-sufficient, how to be successful, how, if I have a wife, how am I going to be able to support, be that part of the support of that structure of a marriage. And it's just a lot of those things you think about. And so it started with going back to school, learning all types of business stuff, and then going from 3 different colleges, 3 different business, courses, hanging around people that have business, but at the same time I'm trying to figure out life itself. Surrounding myself around people that were entrepreneurs, learning from them instead of thinking that I know everything, just listening with the ear and just watching and observing. And I tried to go back to the music stuff. I opened up a record company, but the artist wanted fame right away, so I just decided, it's hard enough to do this work. I don't want to go against, I don't want to make it harder on me, so I stopped that. And then I started writing for an entertainment newspaper called The Promoter Magazine. It was backed by Interscope, and that lasted maybe 5 or 6 years. And I know people, if they're watching, they're like, "How does he write?" I write with my voice. I use my voice recognition software. So no, I do not use my hand to write. So
that's amazing.
well,
Does the people treat you different since after the accident? Does they start actually treating you different? Does your life? I know physically the life get not worse but harder, but I know so many people should support you and provide some kind of help. Does they so many doors was open for you to start running to your business, or actually many people actually say no because of the condition?
I would say more no than opening the door. I had to really force the door. I had to keep, when we started the business plan for Easy Awareness by Design, that took about a good year and a half of planning and developing the business and letting people read it and hearing the feedback and then rewriting the plan and then hearing the feedback and then rewriting the plan until I found a person that believed in that said, yes, I'll invest in your startup and I want to be your business partner because I own a business and I want to show you how you can be a very strong business person just like he is. And that was what I needed. And uh, so it wasn't just the person that wanted to just invest. They wanted to invest, help me, because they wanted to see me succeed, and then they also wanted to be able to mentor, like show what they've done and in past experience, and that's what I needed. But it took a lot of doors to knock on to find the person that said yes. But the person that said yes and that did it was the best person. So the timing was perfect. Never was late, never was early. It was right on time.
That is amazing. Amazing to hear that the whole story. I know. Also, I was talking to you a while time ago, and you say every year you create a business plan. And what I really like, and I actually want to a little more to hear about that. Did you create a plan? Who will you meet in the future? And how would you meet? And you kind of do research about those people. Like, can you just actually say a little more about that, because I think it's really interesting because not everybody say it, not everybody be doing that. Um,
One of the things that I had in there that I wanted to meet, that I had to meet because he owned FUBU. He's the reason why we have all these clothes now. I mean, it's the branding. There's so much. You have to read his book, Display of Power, to really understand where the brands and what's happening right now with Damon John's Drive and FUBU. And he did his 3 times before it really took off. And I said, that's the person I have to meet. That's the person. That's the person. I'm in the apparel business. I'm in the graphic design, the branding. That is the person. And 1 year later, I met him. And, it just happened to be that the person that brought him for a keynote speaking knew that I started the business a year ago and knew that it would be a great matchup for us to meet. And so it was set up after the keynote. And we talked, and I heard his story, and he said keep in touch, and we've been in touch ever since. We went to his academy. We got the mentoring with him with the chat with the shark, which is going to be coming back. I think it's going to be soon. I think it's coming out. It's where he mentors people once a month, all at one group. It's really good. I'm telling you, if the business that you're in is graphic design or branding or look or architect, especially apparel, that's the person. That's the person that you want watching you on your side. You want to watch him. That was one of the main people in my plan, and it happened. And I was just like, this is beautiful, man. I'm telling you, that's why I'm saying it happened in a year. Before I opened the doors to the business, we took a picture in April, and I told people on Facebook, this is the future location of the business. That's the business plan. There was no name for the business yet. That was in 2011, April of 2011. We opened those doors in that same location and where I sit every day in November of 2011.
I know you're running your own business, and so for how long you have it already? I know it's really successful by now, but I wonder how long you have it, like 1 month, couple of years. I was not sure about that. Couple of years?
November of 2011 is when the doors open. Brick and mortar, which means, it's a physical location. And actually, the internet presence is strong. And so we went to the Damon John Academy, and our website was really bad at that time. And we just went to the academy back in March of 2013. No, 2014. 2014. So we were there, and everybody wanted to look at it. Everybody was like, well, I'll just find you on your website. No, don't go to our website. Don't go to our website, because our website wasn't doing anything for us. We just had it because the business has a website, but we weren't making any sales on it. It wasn't even available. We weren't allowing to make sales. We were just saying, hey, we're here and we have a website, but we were more using our Facebook and our social network and our word of mouth. But after we learned that, March 17th, we took the website down and we relaunched, and we were getting sales by 7 p.m. that night. utilizing the Shopify. That's what we learned. So we went to Shopify, and that's where we got our e-commerce store. And we merged our website and our domain and everything with Shopify. We haven't looked back since.
So you basically start your website from scratch originally again?
Yeah, you got to start over. You got to. It's
I'm
kind of
just
like
wondering because I have my own website and I completely redo everything. So for me, that everything what you just saying, that's it just perfectly like close to my heart. So I want to know a little
yeah.
more.
I mean, yeah, our website. It's kind of like a. I don't know if I want to use the dating terms or something. You hold on to a bad relationship for a while, and you're like, I'm gonna change the person, or we're all gonna change, and then it says you gotta find a time to let go, and that's what we did, man. It was like I was very, very content like that whole weekend. We gotta have the number one thing we're doing on March 17th. We are changing this website. We're getting rid of it, and we are restarting it, and we figured out, using Shopify. Shopify is a great way to have your e-commerce store because it's already set up, so you can utilize it. It's just like a mobile phone. You can add apps to it, and I'm telling you, you'll gain sales. You'll get sales, and that's all because of Dave and John. I mean, Dave and John meeting him really, really, really boosts us. Really, he inspired us. I mean, he because just what we were learning, it really just it inspired our team. And just going to the academy was just, man, I'm telling you, the academy was it was amazing. There was so much information and just so much to take in, and being able, and I'm not gonna say I feel bad, but I would love to apply all of it, and I'm working on applying all of it, but there was so much, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the Shopify really, really helped us. And now we have a nice website. It works phone. It already works on your cell phone. A person can sit there and buy something less than a minute with a credit card, and then it's shipped to them in 7 days, or 14 business days, or it might be shipped in a couple of days. So yeah.
I'm just wondering, do you have any advice for new entrepreneurs who just start running their business? Do you have any advice for them? Like, what would be your advice?
Well, the first thing starts with a plan. So whatever it is, whether you're doing fashion or you want to sell lotion or oil, whatever, or open a garden business or a food truck, first develop your plan. Develop exactly what this is going to look like. What do you want to do? What's the long terms of this? Do you want to, is this a business that you just want for 5 years, make money, and then sell it, and then start another business? All these things you have to think about, and then develop the marketing plan, which is inside it, which is your advertising, your charity stuff that you do. All that stuff is within the marketing umbrella, and you want to, and then you have a plan so that when you say, hey Eric, I want to start a bookmark business, I go, okay, well then what is, and then here's the plan. I can look at the plan and see exactly what you're talking about. Like, wow, this is a good idea.
Are you creating the plan for a whole year, or you break it by months, or like by weeks, or just by days? How do you do that?
I did mine year and just like big dream. Like I looked at the bigger dream and said, this is the huge dream. Like, I mean, I got in my plan, I got like factories that are making, that we're doing cotton, what do they call it? I forgot. Like actually manufacturing cotton and making shirts. I mean, when it's in there, it's cool. I mean, did it happen within, but it's there. It's just saying I have bigger goals than just this. I want to be able to bring manufacturing to my city to provide jobs. I want to be able to provide jobs so I can provide money for the schools, so that the kids, when they go to school, there's still schools that still have money. They'll be able to get good education and be able to have a good start. So those are all the things that you think about, and they have money to be able to give to different causes and charities. People that people go through crisis. Their home burns down and they need help, and that's when they need help the most. And it doesn't matter who you are, and person needs help. So that's all in the plan on those things. It's just the bigger goal. But then you have the shorter, the first goal of this is what the first year is going to look like, or I want to project. I plan to project this much, in sales throughout this year. This is how much I would like to spend on marketing or advertising or things like that. Even if you haven't been open, you can still research your demographics and your geographics. And the other thing, talk to other people that own the same similar businesses as you. And that's what I did. Before I even started, it was just going to be T-shirts. I talked to companies that were outside of Michigan and said, hey, I'm thinking, this is my name. I'm thinking about, I want to open up I have a passion to open this up. This is what I want to do. Can you know I watched your website. I see like and you want to make sure that you tell them good things because people like to hear that. If you say, hey, your website was awesome, you're really doing the branding looks good, the images, how did you do it? Then they open up and they talk about it, and they can tell you things not to do or what they did or what they wouldn't do differently so you learn, and then you go to locally, find who's doing the same stuff with you locally, and then maybe there's
Do
a
you have,
strategic partner.
do you still have problems like when you're running your own business right now? Do you still have struggles on a daily
Oh
basis,
yeah.
or people actually recognize you and already open the doors for you?
No, you always have that. You're always going to constantly be keeping doors open. You have to always constantly be on 1 foot forward. Always. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. I mean, if I mean, it's there's all these things right now. You got to look at it. There's television. There's all these like cell phone games and stuff on Facebook. Like all these things. All those things can be a distraction, or you can utilize some of that stuff for your business. Like if you're watching TV, then use it to advertise on television. If you're doing social media, advertise or make relationships, things like that. But you don't have much time if you think about how much someone sleeps, goes to the bathroom, eats, wakes up, drives or whatever. You
I
have like
know
this
time
much.
is flying.
Yeah, it's flying, so you have to utilize that time to for your to build that business. It's always going to be building, always. You don't ever sit back and get comfortable. Don't do that.
Eric, thank you so much for all this amazing interview, and I also thank you so much for all the answering the questions. Just like my last question, where can people find you on Facebook or website? How they can contact you or see your product or even ask about advice if they want to talk to you? How they can find you?
On Facebook, I'm under Eric Patrick Thomas. I always use all three names. That way, when you Google search me, no problem. So
You're a
it's
star out there.
ERIC, not K. Patrick, and then Thomas, and then the the main two Facebook business pages. We now just launched the Inspire Facebook page. It's been I think we got like 400 likes like yesterday or so. I don't know. It's
I
been
know
real.
you just started short time ago to do this Inspire thing, Inspire on your clothes. How it's running for you? Whose was idea to do that? And tips and
It's
any kind of.
it's been around for about 17 years since I've been almost out of rehab. When I was in rehab, that's the one word that always they were leaving with me. They were like that was kind of the word I carried with me. So then when I went and I would just go somewhere, like I'd just go to like your local Best Buy and just shop. I'm just looking around and somebody would be like, "How does that wheelchair work?" And I'll go, "Well, it's a hard puff forward, hard sit backwards, soft puff right, and soft sit left." And then they're like, can I ask you another question? And then they're asking questions, and before you know it, there's 2 or 3 people. Then there's 5 people, and then now I got like a whole crowd. And then I'm demonstrating, and we're talking, and we're having dialogue, basically like class right inside wherever I am, whether it's outside, inside a building, it doesn't matter. It's the only way that someone is going to learn. You got to educate, and they'll learn. So
But you just
educating
started
it.
running your Facebook page, another one, Facebook page about Inspire.
Mhm.
Um, how it goes for you and what kind of advertising you're using, if you're using, and any tricks how to increase traffic to your Facebook page?
Um, with we've done it very organically with the Inspire stuff. Because the way it happened is I would wear it, and when I went and spoke at like schools or whatever, I started seeing like how it changed like the people, like kids and stuff like that, which means like to bring the creativity out of a person or bringing the ultimate best out of a person. So we started saying, wow, let's make this public. So we started selling the shirts, and it started with the shirts, and that went really good. And then we were like, okay. And then we were saying, show your Inspire. So people would post pictures and then share their Inspire story, or share their inspiring story with them wearing it. Well, then Damon John on June 13th, he he shared a picture of him wearing the Inspire shirt, and then he wrote this. paragraph, this page about what he thought of me, and how he was humbled and everything. And I was like, wow. I was geeked, and it was on a Friday. It was Friday the 13th, and I said, I want everybody to feel this way every Friday. So we started Inspire Friday, and so now people every Friday they share their Inspire stories. They don't even have to have Inspire stuff on. We just want something positive that's overtaking all the negative that's out there. And there's a lot of stories, and people get inspiration for other people all the time. It never runs out. It's a great thing to be able to listen to.
Wow,
There's so
Eric,
much.
you are definitely my inspiration, and I'm pretty sure your story is it's just amazing. When I hear your story first time, it really touched my heart. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm sorry to say that, but if you can do that, everybody else can do. And so you're so inspired, you're so motivated, people around you. I'm really actually thankful that you are part in my life. I really appreciate that you're a friend of, my friend, and I
Oh yeah.
just really appreciate that you're here with us and share your story with us. I will definitely share your Facebook page around, and
Excellent.
yeah, and I was really thank you for this meeting. I really appreciate that, and I have to say goodbye for now, but I'm pretty sure we will talk again.
Anytime. Just let me know. You know where to find me.
Okay, bye.
All right. Thanks. Take care.